Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow Earth travelers. Oblix here, and today I want to talk to you about watches, or horology in general. Horology, as you can see, is the art of science, or science of making timepieces or of measuring time. So it's not just watches. Horology is, all manner of clocks. But I have recently really gotten into watches and often find myself perusing sites like this, looking for that next special watch. I've always loved them. I've always liked them since I was a kid. Always collected all the watches I've had since I was a kid, but have recently grown into wanting more and better and different kinds, and learning about the movements and the different intricacies of the different types. Really just kind of grown into more of a hobby for me, as opposed to just a collection of mementos from my past, but actually into a hobby where I want to collect more. I want to get enjoyment from them more than just something on my wrist to tell me what time it is at that point in time, but to where I actually get joy from whatever is sitting on my wrist throughout the day. I really enjoy wearing a different watch every day of a different style, and having conversations with the folks I work with about, what is this type, where did it come from, and every day they're looking for what's the next one he's going to show up with. It's really gotten very interesting for me specifically, and whether you're interested in the every man's watch, right, the Seikos and the Timexes, the ones that you'll find in most of the big box stores that you can, that every man can wear. I love these guys. These are awesome guys. I love browsing Amazon for the cheapest watches I can find, buying them, bringing them home just to see if they're worth it, if they're any good at all. Generally, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's pretty amazing what you can find. So I'm not a watch snob that has to be of the it must be of the ultimate high end of material, and no. I want a timepiece that brings me pleasure. I don't care what anyone else thinks. If I'm enjoying it and I'm happy with it, we're all good. So Seiko's, Timexes, these fantastic. Whether you're into the the digital marvels that are the Casio G-Shocks, love these guys. Whether you're into the high-tech, kind of oddballs like Xeric watches, just unique movements and unique patterns and shapes, or the quirkiness of a Mr. Jones watch's Last Laugh, just unusual. How cool is that, by the way? Gotta tell you, super cool watch. It's on the list of things that I want. But it could also be, the uber high end of the most elegant, beautiful. I don't knock them. If you have one, you love it. Hey, great. You can go up to the Audemars Piguets, these absolutely gorgeous watches that are just absolutely ridiculously priced. Well out of any range I'll ever be able to afford. Let's put it that way. You can buy a car for this. But they're very, very nice, very well-made watches. Be prepared to maintain them and the price that's going to cost you. Just like buying a high-end sports car. You don't go buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and hope to get a $30 oil change at the corner lube and shine. That's just not going to happen. You're going to go spend $3,000 back at Ferrari to get an oil change. Same with an Audemars Piguet. You want it serviced, you're going to pay through the nose for it. Versus, a Seiko or a Casio, something like that. They'll probably never need to be serviced. But today, I want to start my journey with you guys. Now, like I said, I love watches and I browse watch sites looking for the next thing. But I found a group that I give them money, they send me a watch. Kind of like a mystery box. I'll have no idea what's inside of it. I just know it'll be at least valued at this dollar figure. So at minimum, it'll be that. They've given me a minimum, they've given me a maximum. They're like, it'll be in between here. Fair enough. Now, I want to start out with an exclamatory. I am not paid by these people. I am not under their service, their employee. I get no benefit from them whatsoever. Okay, I want to be clear about that up front. Don't want anybody thinking that I've gotten in their pocket or they've gotten in my pocket or anything else. No, this is just a service I'm going to try. You're going to come along with me, hopefully, if you enjoy it. Come along with me on this adventure. We're going to see what we get. I will show you on screen what we get, and we'll go from there. So I've signed up and joined the Watch Gang. TheWatchGang.com. Again, not sponsors by any means. So the Watch Gang has multiple tiers that you can join in. And what it is, you sign up for a tier that costs you a certain dollar figure per month. And every month they send you a watch, a mystery watch, that's valued in the range of whatever tier you're in. So you subscribe, they ship you a watch, you keep the watch. You don't send it back. It's yours to keep. Whatever that watch might be. So we'll look at past watches later. That's not really important right now. So they do insure your shipments. And now let's take a look at the tiers so you can kind of understand what's going on. Now, in order to look at the tiers, you have to kind of tell them what your preferences are so that they can kind of craft, hopefully, the watches that you get to be more of what you might enjoy. So I'm just going to select some at random. You need to pick at least 3. I actually own this one right here. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's an awesome watch. We'll do a review on it later. I'm just going to pick 3 here, right there. Bang, bang, bang. And we're going to zip forward. Here are your 3 tiers. So it starts at the original tier down here. It's $29 a month plus shipping. Be careful on that one. It's not just $29. It ends up being about $33 to $35 a month, somewhere in there. But you're going to get a watch that's valued between $50 and $150 every month. Now, what do they mean by valued at? That's always the question, right? Who's valuing? Because if I go look at a watch manufacturer's website, even Seiko, much as I love them, they put on there, this watch is $270 if you buy it from us. But you can go on anybody else's site and find it for $250. It doesn't have a $270 value if I don't have to buy it for $270, right? It has a $250 value because that's what I can buy it for everywhere else. Now, if you believe the Watch Gang, and time will tell if I believe them or not, I have yet to receive my first watch. So we'll find out together. But if you believe them, they do not value based off the manufacturer's suggested retail price, the MSRP. They do not use that in their evaluation. They look around at other stores, internet locations, things like that, to determine what the value of the watch is. What is it actively being sold for on the market? They pop it into one of the tiers based on that. So the next tier up is the black tier. And in the black tier, it's $99 a month, so it's quite a bit more expensive, but you're going to get watches valued between $150 and $500. Again, not MSRP value, actual street value according to Watch Gang. Time will tell, right? Then you go up to the platinum tier. Now these are going to be your high ends. That's $299 a month. Watch values between $500 and $1,500 a month. I did not sign up for that one, let me tell you. So the tier I'm going to be looking at, the one we're going to be focusing on together, is the black tier. And I signed up for 12 months. So an entire year of black tier watches. So we're going to get to look at 12 watches, one every month. Now, let's take a look at the details for each plan just real quickly. In the original tier, fashionable quality watches, some name brands, Japanese movements. The rest of it we'll talk about later. The black tier, you're going to get premium micro brands. Again, that's subjective, right? And large name brands, so the Seikos, the Casios, those kind of things. Generally Japanese or Swiss movements. And you will find automatics in this tier. You generally won't find them in this tier, but you will find some occasional automatics in this tier. The premium, you're going to get premium, or the platinum, you're going to get premium micro brands and large name brands again. You're going to get Japanese or Swiss automatic movements. Almost all of them will be automatics in this tier. Now, you might ask yourself, what happens if you get a watch that you just don't like? It's bound to happen. I mean, I ordered an entire year's worth. That's 12 watches. What's the likelihood they're going to get it right 12 times? Slim and none. They have a way through a Facebook group called the Watch Gang Exchange that you can only join if you're an active Watch Gang member. You can join this group and you can trade watches with other members. So if you get one you don't like in a month, not everybody gets the same watch every month. They'll have 3, 4, 5 different designs and they'll send them all out. So if you get one you don't like, at the end of the month, you're going to see what all the other watches were. You can go onto the exchange and trade with someone else who got one that you did like. Maybe they didn't like that one. They currently have around 23,000 members in the exchange group, in the Watch Gang Exchange group. So roughly 23,000 customers that you can interact with and trade with at will. Also in the exchange, you can sell watches. If I didn't like any of the watches this month, I'm just going to sell the one I have. Put it in there. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get what you paid for. If you were in the black tier and you paid $100 for the watch, you can sell it for $100. You might get more. If you hold on to it for a couple months and all the initial trades out of the month go away, you post it, somebody may really want it, and you may get it, you may get $150 for it or $200 for it, or whatever. You could make money. I've seen it happen in the exchange. I've been with the group now for about 3 weeks, and I've been watching the exchange very carefully. Every day I log on and take a look through it, and I've seen some great deals. I've bought a few great deals, and I've seen some like, holy crap, what are you people thinking deals? Obviously it's it's a watch somebody just desperately wants and they're willing to pay whatever for it. So they also there will be auctions in there as well, or somebody will hold an auction. Hey, I'm going to get rid of this watch, I'm just going to do an auction for it. $1 increments. Bidding starts at $1 and it goes up to whoever will pay the most amount of money. And it's very well run. It's moderated, so there are rules that people have to follow. And it's thus far. Again, I've only been watching it for about 3 weeks. It's been very reasonable. Again, I'll keep you up to date on how that goes. So again, these are the tiers. I have signed up for the black. Now there is, between the black tier watches that we're going to just receive, one a month. They ship, I believe, by the 16th of the month. So we should be getting June's here, which will be my first watch in a couple of weeks. So you can get watches through your tier. You can get watches off the exchange by buying, by auctioning, or by trading. And I keep moving my hands like you guys can see my hands. It's a thing. There is another way to get watches that seems to be very popular with the members. And that is what's called the wheel. Now, this is the wheel. And you'll notice there's 3 tiers down here at the bottom. Wheel 1, Wheel 2, and Wheel 3. They cost a different amount of points. Hey Obelix, how do you get the points, right? Well, when you sign up, you get points every time you subscribe. So for 12 months, I got 100 points. Or actually, it was 99 points. One shy of 100. That was kind of annoying, to be honest with you. You spend these points. You can also buy them. I'll show you here in a minute. But you can spend these points for a spin on the wheel. Vegas gambling, right? So let's take a look. We're going to hit the 600 just because. Why wouldn't you? So here's where you're going to go to buy points. Let's take a look. Remember, we had 100, 300, and 600 were our options for spending points on the wheel. Each one cost more. The 300 cost more than the 100. The 600 cost more than the 300. But each one moves you up into higher tier watches. So it all works out in the end. If you buy points, here are the costs. Snapshot point in time, right? Always subject to change, but here they are today. So for 600 points, you're going to spend $242. For 300 points, you're going to spend $123. And for 100 points, you're going to spend $45. From what I've seen thus far, again, snapshot point in time, subject to change. From what I've seen thus far, the value of the watches in the tier are always at or greater than the point value. I haven't seen them cheap yet out. At least not yet anyway. So that's the point system. Now, let's talk about the tiers in here. So at the 600 point tier, the high tier, you start selecting watches you want to shoot for at tier 3. There's a tier 2 and a tier 1 above that are cheaper watches. But you bought the higher value tier, so they're not going to give you the chance to get the cheaper watches. Now what you're going to do is you're going to select watches to put on the wheel. And then it's going to spin to see which one you win. So of the tier 3 watches, you get to select 3. So we're going to come down here and we're just going to select 3. Let's see if the one I really want is still on here. Oh yeah, this Parma Galaxy. Gosh, this thing is gorgeous. Now if you want to know more about the watch, you just click on the button and it'll take you usually to the manufacturer's website, sometimes an Amazon link that will tell you more about the watch. Now you see the MSRP is $270. You can find these for about $250 on rare cases on like Memorial Day sales, but generally they're about $260, $270. They're pretty much right in that range. Gorgeous watch. Look at that thing. Oh, stunning. Really want one of these. once you've learned all you want to know, you can come in here and select the watch. Now you get to pick you can choose 3 different watches. You can choose the same watch twice and then another watch. Of course, it moved me down. Or you could pick the same watch 3 times if you just really, really, really want to get that watch. And if we look up here at the wheel, you'll see it's actually putting them on the wheel for you. So, knowing how much I really like that watch, I'm going to leave that one on there twice because it's super special. Then I also love this Jorg Gray chrono style and silver face. It's a beautiful watch. Yeah, to me, that's a beautiful watch. Subject to my own opinions. So we'll select that from a third one. Now we're going to move up to tier 4. And in tier 4, I'm only going to get to select 2 watches instead of 3 because these are more expensive watches. So I really like this Vostok in yellow. You see, we've gotten into more expensive watches. Now this is pretty much MSRP. This one I found down in the 400s, mid 400s, but it is a more expensive watch, a good looking watch. I mean, that's sharp looking. I like that. But I do like the brighter colors too. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And let's say, you know what? I'm not an enormous fan of this Laco, but I'm going to go ahead and select it anyway because I know the sucker will sell for a ton of money. So if I happen to win this one, it's not my favorite. I can always change it out in the exchange. Now we're going to get to select 1 watch out of the tier 5 watches. Now these are, again, more expensive watches, and you know what? I don't like hardly any of these. So here they give you an option to get a Wolf triple winder. Now these are stupid expensive. I mean, these things are like $500-$600. It's ridiculous. But if you don't like any of the watches, man, choose a Wolf winder. Why not? It's not something I would ever buy myself, but if I want it, hey, I'd be happy. But I do like this deep blue Dive Master and that blue dial. That's a good looking watch right there. And again, we've moved up in price because we've moved up in tiers. And again, this is not the value they're valuing the watch based off of. They're valuing it based off what they found around in other stores and such, according to them, right? We'll learn if that's the truth down the road. Now we get to pick from tier 6 watches. This is the highest tier, not counting Grail watches, but it is the highest of the tiers. So we get a Wolf 4-piece winder. Again, stupid expensive. We get another Laco. I think we will try, this Dietrich Carbon. This is a pretty cool watch. Yeah, look at that. I mean, nice colors, carbon fiber. That zoomed in way too much. That's a good looking watch right there. So I'm definitely putting that one on the wheel. And then you get to choose a Grail watch. Now the Grail watch doesn't matter if you choose the 100-point wheel, 300-point wheel, or 600-point wheel. You're going to get the Grail watches. You might not get the tier 6, you might not get the tier 5, but you're going to get the Grail. You always get the Grail. So, a random Rolex, a random Omega, a random Tag Heuer, or sometimes there will be usually historic watches on there, refurbished older watches. I really like Omegas, and I'm not a huge Rolex fan, to be honest with you, though they resell for great. I do like tags, but I'm gonna go with the Omegas. Couple $1,000 watch, what the heck, why not? So here you go, you get your wheel filled out, and it's laid out all the watches for you. Once you've got the points and you're ready to spin, you hit spin, the wheel spins around, whatever it lands on, that's what you get. In 14 days, they ship the watch out to you. Now, I've spun the wheel once, and I spun a 100-point wheel because I got the 99 points for signing up. So I bought 10 more points, spun the wheel one time. Now, at that range, at the 100-point, on the 100-point wheel, you start down here in tier 1. And that's where you get your 3 watches. The tier 2 is where you get your 2 watches. Then you get notice how tier 2 is quite huge. You can get watch bands in here. These are very nice bands, but you get watch bands as well. You get one selection from tier 3 and one selection from tier 4, and then of course you get your grails again. But you notice you don't get the tier 5 and you don't get the tier 6. So you're just removed from those altogether because you're paying less. So that's only fair. But you still can, have the opportunity to get up and get that beautiful yellow Vostok. The likelihood is going to be less because it's at a significantly higher tier from what you paid. To get those beautiful Aragons that we were looking at, that we put 2 of them on our previous wheel, we can only put 1 of them on this wheel because of the tier it's in. We started in tier 3 before. This is tier 3. It's our 3rd tier up in this one. So here's that beautiful black Galaxy Parma. We could pop that on and it's gonna go on 1 time, in a very high tier. Now remember that beautiful yellow Vostok down here at tier 4, that's now going to sit in this little bar right here. This little tiny gray bar. That's going to be hard to win. Whereas in the 600 point tier, it sat right here, and you had a much better chance at getting it. Or was it here? I don't remember. It was one of those two. Yeah, I think it was here. So you had a much better opportunity of winning it. It's a much bigger area. This wheel actually physically spins, and whatever this arrow is on, whatever it physically lands on, that's where you get your points. I've seen guys, where that wheel spun and it landed like right there. Remember, this is the grail. This is always the grail, this little dark gray. It's just like right, it's kissing it. But they ended up with the lowest tier, but it was so close to the grail. But I have seen guys that have won the grail. So it does happen. So it's not like it doesn't, at least at this point in time, it does not appear to be a cheaty thing. It seems like it's fairly fair and balanced. You'll hear a lot of grumblings about guys, I spun the wheel 10 times and only won the first tier every 10 times. Well, but then you'll hear, in that same chat message, you'll see a dude that's, well, I spun it 1 time and I got 4 tiers up. So, sucks to be you kind of thing. So it seems pretty well balanced. So that's that. But I spun in this tier and I won, you get the first 3 come out of the tier 1 watches, and I wanted a tier 2 watch, down in here in the tier 2. So, not bad. I ended up on this line right here. So they call it an upgrade. I got an upgrade. So, I paid, well, I didn't actually pay. It was part of my subscription, but, I would have paid, for a tier 1 watch, but I ended up with a tier 2 watch. So fantastic. A review of that will be coming up very soon because I got it today, and oh my goodness, it's awesome. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. Very cool, very cool. It is a micro brand, so it's a watch you've never heard of, most likely, and hopefully you guys are going to like it. I've got a bunch of studio equipment I ordered today. Having it shipped here so I can do these unboxings for you, with decent lighting, with a decent camera, that kind of thing. I tried a bunch of the stuff I had around the house just to see if it would work, and I didn't like the quality of any of it. I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but I'm kind of close. I don't want to put it out there if it's not at least decent, and I just couldn't get to the quality that I wanted. So I ordered, some good stuff. It's on the way, should be here at the end of the week. Snapshot point in time. Right now it's Sunday, so hopefully by Friday we'll have everything in place. I'll be able to get things set up for the weekend. On the weekend, hopefully I'll have some time and can start taking a look at some of these things. And doing these further discussions I want to have. I want you guys with me when I open these boxes and we take a look at these watches for the first time. Then I want you with me when I sit down and really take a close look at these watches after I've lived with them for a few days. After I've spent some time with them. What are the good things about them? What are the bad things about them? Were they worth the money? Were they not worth the money? Are they going up in value, down in value? What are the quirks and features, as Doug DeMurno would say, if any of you guys are car fans. But that is Watch Gang in a nutshell. Again, not paid. They can pay me if they want, but they're not paying me now. So we're going to take a look. We're going to see. I just kind of wanted to introduce you guys, give you guys a bit of a background video on where these all of a sudden watch videos are going to start coming from and why they're coming. Just to put a little foundation down before we put the building down. So that is all the time I'm going to have for today. Sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me, as always. And until next time, get out there and make some noise. See ya.